Welcome to this exploration of the origins and history of the human race as presented by the three great Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. These religions share a tapestry of interconnected stories, powerful figures, and sacred milestones, but each weaves its own path through time. In this narrative, we'll unfold their timelines, compare their teachings, and bring in the lens of science and archaeology to enrich our understanding. So sit back, and let's travel through history, sacred and secular alike. Chapter 1. In the beginning. In the Christian tradition, the story begins around 4000 BC. God creates Adam and Eve, the first humans, in the Garden of Eden. Similarly, Jewish tradition marks the year of creation at 3760 BC, which becomes the starting point of the Hebrew calendar. In Islam, while the date is not specified, the Quran proclaims Adam as the first man, fashioned by Allah with divine purpose. Yet, science tells a different story. According to genetic and fossil evidence, modern humans evolved in Africa around 300,000 years ago. The idea of a single pair of humans created just 6,000 years ago? Not supported by empirical evidence. Still, these faith-based accounts resonate with billions, offering profound meaning beyond literal interpretation. Chapter 2. The Great Flood. Next, we hear of the flood, a massive deluge said to cleanse the earth of wickedness. Christianity and Judaism place this event around 2348 and 2100 BC respectively, centering on the righteous figure of Noah. Islam also reveres Noah, or Nuh, as a prophet and ark builder. Scientists, however, find no support for a global flood. But regional floods? Yes, the Black Sea deluge theory and Mesopotamian flood layers suggest powerful floods that could have inspired these enduring stories. The ancient epic of Gilgamesh even shares striking similarities to Noah's tale. Chapter 3. Of Languages and Legends. The Tower of Babel stands as a mysterious turning point. According to the Bible, humanity once spoke a single language. They built a tower to reach the heavens, and were scattered by God, their tongues confused. Jewish Midrash expands on this theme, but Islam remains silent on Babel. What does science say? Languages evolved gradually. Over thousands of years, dialects split and merged, forming the diverse linguistic families we know today. There's no evidence for a sudden, divine disruption, but towering ziggurats in ancient Babylon might have inspired the imagery. Chapter 4. The patriarchs walk the earth. Now we meet Abraham, known as Ibrahim in Islam. Around 2000 BC, he journeys from Ur in Mesopotamia to the land of Canaan. He becomes the father of nations, the spiritual ancestor to Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Historical confirmation of Abraham? Still elusive. Yet archaeological records from the city of Ur match biblical descriptions. The lifestyle of a wandering patriarch in the Bronze Age is consistent with what we know. Chapter 5. Exodus and Emancipation. Moses, called Musa in Islam, leads the Israelites out of Egypt. Christianity and Judaism date this event between 1446 and 1260 BC. Islam, too, honors Moses as a great prophet and liberator. But does history? That's harder to say. There's no clear archaeological evidence of a mass exodus. Still, Egyptian texts reveal that Semitic peoples lived and worked in Egypt. Cities like Pyramus and artifacts like the Brooklyn Papyrus support that cultural context. Chapter 6. Kingdoms and Kings. David and Solomon reign around 1000 BC. Their stories, filled with wisdom, warfare, and divine covenants, anchor the biblical narrative of a united Israel. The Tel Dan stele, an ancient stone inscription, mentions the house of David. Urban expansion in cities like Jerusalem, Megiddo, and Hazor matches biblical descriptions. While their exact grandeur is debated, something royal did rise in that time. Chapter 7. Temples and Exile. In 586 BC, the Babylonians destroy Jerusalem and its first temple. This event is a turning point in Jewish history, echoed in Islamic and Christian awareness. Here, archaeology speaks clearly. Burn layers, Babylonian records, and the famous Cyrus cylinder confirm this seismic shift in ancient life. Chapter 8. The Man from Nazareth. Jesus of Nazareth, Isa in the Quran, is central to Christianity and revered in Islam. Christians view him as the Son of God. Islam sees him as a great prophet, born miraculously, but not divine or crucified. Judaism, on the other hand, does not accept his messianic claim. Historical sources, from Roman historian Tacitus to Jewish scholar Josephus, mention Jesus. While archaeology cannot verify miracles, it affirms his existence as a first-century teacher in Judea. Chapter 9. The Seal of the Prophets. The last chapter of our journey brings us to Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, born in Mecca in 570 AD. By the time of his death in 632, he had united Arabia under the banner of Islam. Unlike ancient prophets, Muhammad's life is well documented. Inscriptions, coins, and early Quranic manuscripts give firm evidence of his influence and legacy. Chapter 10. Calendars and counting time. Each faith tracks time in its own sacred way, Christianity follows the Gregorian calendar, counting from the birth of Christ, making this the year 2025. Judaism, using a lunisolar system, counts 5,785 years since creation. Islam, with its lunar calendar, marks 1,446 years since the Hijra, the Prophet's migration from Mecca to Medina. Each system reflects how its followers root their identities in sacred history. Final reflections: faith meets fact across millennia. These religious timelines have shaped civilization, inspired billions, and provided moral compasses. But when placed under the lens of science and archaeology, we see a more complex picture. Some events find support, others remain matters of faith. Science extends humanity's story far beyond what Scripture records, while archaeology often fills in the cultural backdrop without confirming miracles or divine interventions. And yet, the power of these stories endures. Suggested readings and sources: the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, A History of God by Karen Armstrong. Who wrote the Bible? By Richard Friedman. Archaeological journals from the Near East. Genetic research on human ancestry. Thank you for joining Bismal's News and Entertainment Corner on this journey. May this exploration deepen your curiosity and respect for the rich mosaic of human history, both sacred and scientific.